When I think about the issue of our youth and those issues that we have with them, I think the main problem is that we're not listening. We're not listening. If you engage in a mentorship session with a 15-year-old, if you do 90% of the talking and only 10% of the listening, then you failed. If the young man can do 90% of the talk, and that means you have to get him to trust you enough to open up to him. For him to open up to you. If you can gain his or her trust and get them to talking, they will tell you how to help them. But too often we're so in love with hearing our own voice that this becomes a me show and not about them. So we're dealing with a generation who feels unheard, unseen, unwanted, and unloved. We got the brother OG1 here who taught me that the word thug, THUG, really means traumatized human unable to grieve. So suicide rates are through the roof where our young men are concerned. The number one cause of death among youth ages 15 to 24, homicide. Why? Because it's easier to get a pistol with a switch on it than it is to get a decent job nowadays. So what we have to do as a community is we have to rearrange our priorities, and we have to make our primary focus on our young people. And the hip hop community plays a major role where that's concerned. He who controls images controls culture. He who controls culture controls the youth. Hip hop is not as young as it was 30 years ago. I think maybe a few years ago, K Reno, they separated 50 years of hip hop, right? So if 30 years ago hip hop was only 20, then it may not have made as much sense to those of us who are in the industry to get involved into politics. But at the age of 50, your mind expands. Is that right? At the age of 50, your priorities should be rearranged. You should be looking at the bigger picture. We have to look at our community like a chessboard. And on the chessboard, every piece has a role to play. And that's how it is with our community. Everybody in this audience has a role to play. My role is not more important than your role. Your role is not more important than my role. We need soldiers on every battlefield in our community. And one of the things that we have to make sure that we do, we have to make certain that we use the power of our voices to choose who will sit at the table for us and represent us when it's time to bring resources back to our community. So we all have to make certain that we have, number one, an agenda. Every community got to have an agenda. And if the community has an agenda, we need the rap artists to create the narrative that's the driving force for that agenda. Am I making sense? And as that narrative is created, we got to make sure we have brothers like Lawrence Allen who have spent decades not just in lip service, but decades in improving the lives of our youth at every level, not just the ones that live out in the suburbs, but the ones that come out of the trenches. They can tell you how Mr. Allen has impacted them and affected their lives. So I'm saying that even those of us who are in the hip hop generation, that would be me too, it's time for us to grow up. And it's not enough now for us to say, hey, I don't want nothing to do with politics. Let me tell you something. There's politics in everything that you do. If you're a rap artist and you know you had the jammingest song in the city, but your song couldn't get played on the radio, why didn't your song get played on the radio? Politics. If you know your son is the best quarterback on the football team, and he can outrun, outpass, outscramble everybody else that plays that position. But he don't get the playing time that he deserved. Why didn't he get the playing time that he deserved? Politics. So there's politics in everything that we do. And if we don't master it, it will continue to what? Master us. Yeah. So it's very important that we select the right people with the right hearts to sit at the table with us when it's time to represent our agenda and our interests. And I think we need to go out in May. They didn't tell me to say this. And I think we need to vote for Brother Lawrence Allen for our state representative in this area.
I ain't gonna lie. I think one thing, because I really didn't answer the question like I was supposed to. I think, like me growing up, if it wasn't a Public Enemy or a KRS-One or a BDP, X-Clan, them brothers made politics cool. They rapped, they made it cool to be pro-black. And they stood for something. It wasn't just saying go vote. They actually had an agenda, they had a message. And I think that's what inspired me. You know, we do have rappers like that now. You got Brother K Reno, a bunch of other brothers that's doing their thing, but we definitely have to push that message out there in hip hop. Cause if I didn't grow up listening to, if I wasn't inspired by, you know, Chuck D and X-Clan, even NWA during the Rodney King, when they did the riots, they still stood for some type of political point of view. They wasn't just saying go out and vote. They had like a real agenda. So I think that's something that's missing in hip hop today.
Beautiful. I want to pivot just a little bit, but I also want to shout out to Brother Robert Slater that's over here as well.
Brother K Reno, look, man, the Underground Dialogue website is back in function. We back in motion, man. If y'all want Underground Dialogue podcast merch, whatever you need, go to undergrounddialogue.com and check us out. And always make sure that every Wednesday night, y'all are checking out the Underground Dialogue podcast right on YouTube, 9 p.m. Central Time. Yeah! What's up, man? It's your big brother, K Reno. And check this out, man. The Underground Dialogue podcast is offering advertising opportunities, man. You can promote your business. You can promote your video, your song, whatever it is that you have, man. Reach out to us if you're interested in promoting on the Underground Dialogue podcast. All you got to do is email us at undergrounddialoguepodcast@gmail.com. Get it.